Hi, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for spending some time with us today to explore our brand new 2025 Formica Laminate Woodgrains and Patterns collection. I'm Megan Howell, the Design and Creative Director at Formica Group North America. Now, this is more than just your standard launch webinar. This is a conversation about what's next in commercial surfaces. We'll be covering trends, materials, and the stories behind each of the new designs. And yes, there will be plenty of inspiration to take into your next project. This launch is about modern warmth and elevated tactility. Across commercial interiors, from healthcare to hospitality to higher education, we're seeing a return to honest, comforting materials with subtle but impactful shifts. Think richer wood figures, biophilic patterns, and textile textures that layer beautifully into refined, livable spaces. We've built this collection with direct feedback from over 150 architects and designers across North America. Every color and texture here is backed by research and inspired by the evolving needs of your projects. Let's start with wood grains. The new additions lean into authentic character, refined layouts, natural variation, and finishes that support thoughtful modern design. We've added 8 new decors, everything from a fresh oak to elegant hickories and rare exotics. These are designed to be specified in interiors, millwork, and furniture. Kicking things off, we have natural white oak. When we started designing this collection, we kept coming back to white oak. It's that material you see everywhere, and for good reason. It's versatile, familiar, and incredibly timeless. This one really became the anchor of the collection, and what we love about this version was how it captures that classic oak cathedral in a way that feels fresh and not fussy. We gave it a soft, natural beige color, a modern take that avoids the yellow tones and oranges that we used to see in older oaks. And it's paired with our oiled wood texture, which brings a natural matte feel that's more in line with how real wood is being finished today. It's the kind of wood grain that blends in when it needs to, but also adds just enough detail to stand out on its own. It's super usable across workplace, education, and even healthcare environments where warmth and clarity matter. And very quickly, before we go any further, I just want to point out that all of the photos and videos you see in this presentation are real photos and videos. We're not showing you any CGI environments or AI rendered places. So you're seeing real product, real texture, real lighting, real environments, all real. Moving along, next we have our new maples. These two feel like a quiet evolution. They're refined, they're calm, but really impactful when you see them in a space. Starting silver maple that we see right here, it's light, it's luminous, it's just a touch of shimmer that catches your eye in a really elegant way. It has that fresh, airy feeling like morning light in a really well-designed space. We imagine this one on furniture in classrooms or offices that are trying to feel less institutional and more intentional. It's clean, but not cold. Second, we have fumed maple. It's the more grounded, dramatic counterpart to silver maple. It has this soft copper highlight that brings out the grain, giving it the visual richness you'd get from fuming a real maple veneer. We love how it adds depth without going overly dark. It could easily live in a hospitality setting or on statement millwork in a corporate interior. Together, they're a new take on a species that's been specified for decades, but with a level of texture and light play that feels right for today's interiors. For me personally, maple has this natural ability to feel both clean and warm at the same time. Maybe that's because, like many of us, I grew up in the 90s surrounded by maples in the classroom. It doesn't try too hard, it sits comfortably in any space. I love how its even grain gives us room to play with tone, light, and texture. A well executed maple isn't trendy or dated. It feels right, whether it's in a classroom, a cafe, or a collaborative workspace. Next, we have 2 new hickories. This was a species that we were excited to bring back into the range. It's been decades since we've had a hickory in the collection, and honestly, it was overdue. First is natural refined hickory. It has a clean, fresh look. It's light, it's warm, and the fine grain gives it a kind of quiet texture that makes it perfect for furniture or casework that wants to feel crafted but not rustic. There's really something beautiful about the scale of its grain, delicate, narrow cathedrals that feel elegant and intentional. Then there's Brune refined hickory, which we see as the more elevated Taylor sibling to natural refined hickory. The brown tone adds warmth and richness without going too red or too orange. It works beautifully in built-in applications, think reception desks, wall panels, or even open office millwork, where you want to introduce natural materiality in a controlled, refined way. For years as an industry, we've leaned heavily on maples and oaks, so adding hickory is a refreshing shift. It's still familiar, but it gives your project something with a little more personality. The two tones that we developed, natural and brune, each serve a different purpose. Natural refined hickory is light, clean, and incredibly versatile. Brune adds some warmth and richness for projects that want something a little moodier or maybe more grounded. In its natural form, hickory can be really tricky. It's very dense, it's a hardwood, which makes it beautiful but expensive and sometimes impractical, especially for large scale or high traffic commercial projects. That's why I'm so excited we've brought a hickory into the Formica Laminate collection. You get all of the visual character, the refined grain, the warmth, the expressiveness, but it's easier to use, more consistent, and much more cost effective. It opens the door to bringing that handcrafted feel into spaces like healthcare, workplace, or education, where real wood might not be feasible. Now, my personal favorite, cocoa tamarind. This grain has a beautiful interlocking flow. It's wavy and organic. What I love most, though, is the range of tones in it. You'll see touches of red, brown, yellow, and even some soft gray streaks woven through the structure. That kind of depth makes it incredibly versatile. It plays really well with warm metals, creamy stones, black accents, you name it, it'll work. Even though it has that exotic, luxurious feel, it's still really usable. It can be the statement piece in a high-end hospitality space or bring just enough richness to a furniture piece or accent wall. This one really stands out in the collection. From the beginning, we wanted something that felt a little more rare, like that perfect find. And Cocoa Tamarind brings that sense of richness and story. What makes it even more special is that it gives you the rare wood look without the impact of sourcing an endangered species. It's the material you can feel good about specifying while still creating something that feels layered, interesting, and intentional. Now, our last two wood grains of the collection are a structure that's already been a designer favorite since we introduced it a few years ago. And this year, we've expanded it with two new tones. We have ash riftwood and natural riftwood. Ash riftwood brings in a pale neutral tone. It's cool but not cold, and incredibly easy to pair with both warm and gray-based palettes. It feels light, airy, great for contemporary commercial spaces. And natural riftwood shifts just slightly warmer. It's a true mid-tone that adds approachability. It's an easy go-to for wall systems, furniture, casework, or millwork that needs to feel fresh and timeless. Riftwood has this quiet, crafted feel to it. It's inspired by reconstructed or reconstituted woods, materials that are intentionally made, not just found. That structure gives it a fine, consistent grain with a soft, linear quality that feels calm and composed. It has the presence of something architectural. It's refined and it's balanced, like it's meant to be part of a larger system. And now, with the addition of Ash and Natural, we're offering a complete Riftwood range in 5 tones, from light to dark. Ash Riftwood, a pale neutral tone. Natural Riftwood, a soft beige midtone. Walnut Riftwood, a rich warm brown. Silver Riftwood, a cool balanced gray. And Black Riftwood, a deep grounding tone. Together, these 5 give you a spectrum of modern architectural wood looks with all the same consistent grain and clean finish that make Riftwood such a designer favorite. Okay, moving from wood grains into patterns. We shift focus from structure to surface, textures that complement contrast and complete an interior. What we heard from so many of you through interviews and working sessions is that pattern can't just be decorative. It needs to do something. It has to ground a palette, soften a surface, or provide a subtle alternative to a solid color, especially in large-scale millwork and vertical applications. So starting with fabric, this year we've added two new colors that build on the fabric range in meaningful ways. First is sisal fabric. It's an organic earthy brown, a grounded neutral that has texture and interest. It feels handmade, sun-washed, and incredibly versatile. Perfect for cabinetry, casework, or even wrapping wall panels where you want visual softness. Alma fabric brings in a leafy biophilic green into the mix. It's not minty or oversaturated, just a quiet nod to the greens we're seeing more of in commercial spaces. We see this working beautifully in education, wellness, or anywhere designs are leaning into nature-driven tones. The fabric series has always been about translating the softness of textiles into the hard-wearing world of laminate. The texture here is a loose, cross-woven linen, structured just enough to read as fabric, but subtle enough to blend with wood grain, stones, and other materials in a project. These fabrics work as textural solids. They provide warmth, softness, and depth in a way flat, solid color can't. And with these two new additions, Sisal and Palma, we now offer 6 fabric colors in the collection. Each one brings a slightly different mood, from soft, natural, warm grays to a fresh, organic green and blue. Together, they give you a full spectrum of textile-inspired surfaces that can layer into any project. Whether you're designing millwork, walls, casework, or furniture, it's a fabric-inspired toolkit you can keep coming back to. Moving along to cloth, a design that brings the comfort of woven fabric into a space where performance still matters. Raw cloth is the ultimate neutral. It sits right in the middle, balanced, versatile, and incredibly easy to pair. It brings a sense of quiet texture to walls, casework, or furniture without ever pulling too much focus. It works when you need something that's not quite a solid, but not a statement either. Pampas cloth adds a beautiful muted green to the range, something that feels organic. It has that toasted botanical tone that brings a soft biophilic layer into your palette. Perfect for healthcare, education, or an interior aiming for calm and connection. Where the fabric series is linen-like, cloth has a slightly looser weave. It's a broken twill pattern that introduces just a hint of movement and familiarity. It's a kind of texture you might find in upholstery, translated into a cleanable, durable surface. These fabrics work as textural solids. They provide warmth, softness, and depth. And with Raw and Pampas joining the series, the cloth collection includes 5 colors total. It's a palette that spans warm and cool neutrals with subtle additions of blue and green. Each color offers a quiet woven texture that adds softness and depth, giving you an easy way to layer in warmth, comfort, and visual interest across a wide variety of applications. Last but not least, we have siltstone. This is one of the more material-driven patterns in the collection. Based on a fine concrete layered with mineral speckle and subtle aggregate, think of this as a bridge between terrazzo and concrete, but more organic and usable at scale. Limed siltstone brings a light base with flecks of soft neutral particulates. It's grounded but airy, great for lighter palettes where you still want visual texture. It works beautifully on vertical surfaces, counters, or large expanses of millwork. Flint siltstone takes that same material story and deepens it. Richer in tone, with gravel-like warmth, it makes it feel architectural and grounded. It's an excellent choice for darker palettes or spaces looking for contrast without gloss or shine. What makes the siltstones especially usable is the mix of both warm and cool tones in the aggregate. That balance gives it real flexibility, whether you're pairing with warm wood grains, cool neutrals, or layered mixed material palettes. It finds a place easily. These two build on the popularity of stone visuals by softening the edges, offering something more refined and more adaptable. Limed and flint siltstone were developed as a pair, two distinct interpretations of a mineral texture, one light and one dark. With these two options, you have a versatile way to introduce a mineral texture in your project. Now, I've been kind of obsessed with the way pattern scale has evolved over the last 10 to 15 years. We've seen this big swing towards large-scale visuals, oversized marbles, dramatic veining, bold statements. And that was really a response to the tiny speckles of the 80s and 90s. Now, I've been feeling a pullback towards a smaller scale pattern, but done in a much more natural, refined way. And that's exactly where siltstone comes in. They're not a throwback, they're reimagining that small dot. They have that tight mineral-like speckle, but it feels organic, grounded, and subtle. It's a small pattern, but it's really beautiful, layered, and versatile. It's the kind of surface that brings just enough visual interest without taking over a space. And through our research, a lot of designers are craving that right now as well. Now that you've seen the whole collection, I hope it's sparked a few new ideas. Maybe there's a favorite wood grain that you want to try or a pattern that's perfect for your next project. If you're curious to see more or want to explore how these materials could work in your current or upcoming projects, here's a few ways to keep the momentum going. First, reach out to your local Formica sales rep for an in-person presentation because we all know that the best design decisions happen when you can touch and feel and experience the materials in person. Order free samples of any of these new colors. Samples are available right now today on formica.com. And if you need a little more inspiration, you can check out our digital lookbook where we've curated images, ideas, and installation photography that brings the whole collection to life. We've made all of this really easy to access with this QR code on the slide. You can use it to browse the lookbook, order samples, and if you're not sure who your Formica sales rep is, formica.com can help connect you to the right person in your area. And a quick reminder, full sheet images and swatches of each new pattern and wood grain are available on our website or from your rep. We know how important repeat scale is, especially for renderings, mood boards, and client approvals. So we've made this process as seamless as possible. Before we close, I have to share some news we're incredibly proud of. In-Depth Surfacing recently received 3 Best of NeoCon awards, including the Innovation Award for Surfacing, which is a judge-nominated award. It was a true surprise and an honor. If you haven't seen In-Depth in person, it's a premium laminate that brings dimensional depth to the surface, a texture fully aligned with the visual. And what makes it exciting is how it pairs high-end visuals and tactile appeal with the practicality of laminate. So it's durable, affordable, cleanable, really easy to fabricate. You can use it on verticals, horizontals, walls, fixtures, anywhere you use laminate. It's designed for the kind of spaces where you need texture to make an impact. This recognition, the Best of NeoCon Award, really reinforces the direction we've been headed as a company, prioritizing real material innovation for the spaces you're designing today. Our sales representatives are fully stocked with samples of In-Depth, so if you're reaching out about seeing any of the new colors of the new collection, ask them about In-Depth as well. And finally, before we wrap, I want to take a moment to zoom out. Formica is a part of a larger family of globally recognized surface brands under the Broadview Materials umbrella. This includes Fenix, ARPA, Trespa, Harts & Kennedy, and Homopol. Together, we offer a shared vocabulary that spans design, finishes, and technologies, each with our own point of view, but united by innovation, sustainability, and intent. And I just mentioned Homopol, which you may remember as Decometal. It's recently been rebranded to Homopol globally to align with our portfolio and reinforce its identity as a premium metal solution for interiors. Now, what hasn't changed is what has made it special in the first place, real metal surfaces in laminate form. Think brushed brass, oxidized copper, industrial steels, and deeply textured designs that can bring drama and refinement to vertical interior applications. This update isn't just a name change, it's a recognition of how design is increasingly working across brands, regions, and material categories. With this rebrand, it's easy to see how Homopol fits into the larger picture alongside Fenix and ARPA as part of our global material library built for today's interiors. Altogether, this portfolio of surfacing solutions gives you more ways to build material stories that are both functional and beautiful. Thanks again for spending time with us today. We're really proud of what's in this new laminate collection and even more excited to see how you'll bring it to life in furniture, interiors, in the kinds of spaces that make people feel something. If you'd like help exploring samples, seeing full sheets, or Talking through project-specific palettes, reach out. We're here to collaborate and support you however we can.